to another video, and in this video I'm just going to be playing World of Airports. My thing isn't loading, my camera isn't loading that good.
Gunshot to the head. In 91.
Two? Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't even really feel. Do you feel pain? I mean, you can't interview anybody about it, obviously. But if you got shot in the head, would it hurt before you die? You wouldn't have time to process the pain, so no.
Suddenly, while dying from being literally boiled alive, it's a staggering 105.
Shot like 91.
And unfortunately, such incidents in production
It's like a kidney stone.
happen quite often. In 2009, Vincent Smith II worked at an illegal chocolate factory, Cocoa Service, in Camden, New Jersey. The 29-year-old worker, Vincent Smith II, worked at an illegal chocolate factory.
What the fuck is an illegal chocolate factory in Camden? I'm gonna show y'all a picture of Camden. Where were they running a fucking chocolate factory in Camden, New Jersey? I mean, some parts of Camden are okay, but like, bro, this is like, I haven't lived in Camden for a week when I was in fucking high school, and like a means of like, it was like we had this whole thing, Top Veritas. It was supposed to like show you like love and how like some people have to live. It's fucking horrible. Like, this is what's free on Camden. Like, most of the houses are abandoned.
Cocoa Service in Camden, New Jersey. The 29-year-old worker was dumping giant chunks of chocolate over the edge of a bag, nearly 2.5 meters deep. There, chocolate was melted and mixed. Suddenly, Vincent was struck by a mixer pad and fell right into the hot molten mass, reaching a temperature of 120 degrees Celsius. His colleagues immediately rushed to shut down the machine. However, Vincent stayed in the chocolate for a full 10 minutes before rescue could pull him out. Even though his body was mangled by the giant mixer, Vincent died from burns. The tragedy occurred because the platform he fell from was slippery from splattered chocolate and was directly above the vat without any barriers to protect workers from falling into the boiling mixture. Nevertheless, you don't have to be at a dangerous facility to experience excruciating pain, which on the scale goes even beyond 105 points. On November 23rd, 2008, a 911 dispatcher heard the shaky voice of a 76-year-old woman. It was Loretta from Hood County, Florida. Firefighters were immediately dispatched to her.
Oh my god, she's alive.
The dispatcher told the woman to leave the building and go outside.
American 6922, runway 24, clear to land, wind 18 degrees, 1 knot.
Just breaks your heart. Loretta had recently undergone surgery and couldn't move quickly without assistance. Plus, she couldn't see anything through the smoke. Meanwhile, the fire truck slowly made its way down the rough country road where the woman lived. Loretta was freaking out, worried that nobody would save her, constantly asking if help was really on the way and if they were sure they were coming to her. Then, on the recording, you could hear Loretta start coughing and wheezing, and the sound of the crackling fire in the background getting louder. But I can't show you what the recording captured next, because then the flames engulfed the woman, who never got the help she desperately needed. She screamed wildly as she burned alive. The link to the full recording I'll leave in the description below. Loretta was dying while firefighters were just minutes away from her yard. The phone call cut out after 20 minutes, and rescuers arrived at the scene.
20 minutes to get to her house? Oh, what? That's fucking... I feel like they should be there quick. 20 minutes? Bro, you guys need to be there in like 10. That's a horrible way to go. Burned alive? I mean, there's a lot of protective terms. That's just like, if she was like a 20-year-old person, she would be able to just get out of the house.
And that several firefighters attempted to enter the house, but no evidence supports his words. And the dispatcher was blamed for giving
Delta 4490, handling finished 373 packs on board.
Died in agony because the pain from burning alive is a staggering 108 points. You wouldn't wish such a death on anyone. But you know what? I came across a story where a person knowingly subjected themselves to such suffering. On June 11, 1963, several American correspondents, including Malcolm Brown, gathered outside the Cambodian embassy in Saigon. The day before, journalists were informed that something had been horrible happened. Buddhists were deeply offended by the disrespect of their beliefs by the South Vietnamese government. So, around 350 monks and nuns gathered over another peaceful protest. Suddenly, not far from the presidential
I've been multiple, like, I've seen multiple monks that burn themselves and sit there and fucking as that happens.
Eddie has 6755, runway 24 cleared to land, wind 26 degrees, 8 knots.
Oh my god, I'm burning close.
A car stopped, and 3 monks got out, including Quang Hu. Malcolm pointed his camera at the trio, not realizing what he would witness through the lens next. Protesters gathered around Quang, who sat on a pillow in the traditional Buddhist meditative lotus pose, while another monk started pouring gasoline on his head. Quang paid no attention to the prayer, and when he finished, he struck a match. The flames instantly engulfed, rising up in black smoke. It was a horrifying spectacle. Quang Hu's body slowly withered and shriveled, his head black and charred. I can't show you the photo either, but I'll leave a link below the video. The scene was very contrasting, as everyone present there loudly cried, watching the self-immolation, while the monk himself endured painful suffering. Didn't he?
And it's so weird. I feel like there's a term for it. When something like that happens, you're appalled by it, but you like can't turn away. Like the people that were there were probably like, oh my god, but they probably still watched.
Whether it was meditation skills or inner spiritual strength that helped the monk endure the agony of his impending death. I know for sure an ordinary person wouldn't pass like that, let alone endure the pain that takes
4726, runway 24 cleared to land, wind 25 degrees, 9 knots.
At Westmoreland County Community College, our dental hygiene and dental assisted programs give you
In 2007, a 33-year-old woman from Hong Kong named Cecilia Chung climbed to the top of Miragong volcano.
She fall in the volcano, dude. No fucking way. No fucking way she fell in lava. That'd probably be better though than being burned alive. If you fell in lava, you'd probably die so bad. If you fell in molten lava, you're dead in like 10 seconds.
In the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It last erupted in 2002, flooding a highly populated city of Goma with water.
I see. What's that volcano that engulfed the whole city? I used to be so fascinated by the people that die in Congo, in like positions that they have that people laying down and each other and shit.
Since then, the volcano has been relatively safe, so tourists from all over the world flock to see its famous water. It looks like cracked dirt in the desert, with hellish streaks of fire rising from it. Cecilia climbed nearly 3,500 meters from the site. The woman was thrilled by the terrifying view of the lake and wanted to take a closer photo. To do this, she climbed over the edge of the crater, and suddenly, Cecilia slipped and fell down. However, flying about 200 meters, she hit a protrusion right
Oh, it would have been better if she fell in the lava. Holy shit. I would have jumped in the lava. I would have jumped in the lava at that point, Chad. You're not getting saved here. That's probably hot as balls.
right above the lava. Cecilia felt piercing pain as the impact broke several bones. She was thrown into the heat. It was almost impossible.
922.
Climb Mountain Park, located on the Japanese island Tsukushima, with a girl from school. Kyoko was in love with her friend. However, in Japanese society at that time, same-sex relationships were condemned, and this oppressed Kyoko so much that she didn't want to live. The schoolgirl threw herself into the volcano crater before her lover's eyes. The scariest thing in this story is that the girl became a role model for many Japanese people who wanted to end their lives. By 1935, almost 1,300 people had lost their lives by jumping into Miharu, until the Japanese government built barriers around the area. Still,
People could fucking start throwing themselves into the fucking lava pit of thousands of people who jumped into the fucking volcano.
as countless stories show, people often ignore such prohibitions. In 2016, Colin Scott and his sister, Sadie, went on a tour to Yellowstone National Park, known for its geothermal springs.
Oh, dude, the geysers get really hot. Like if they jumped into like a geyser pool, that would be a very that would be like boiling. That'd be like boiling.
They really look
Being
fascinating. But getting close to them is dangerous. The water here may not be as hot as lava in the volcano.
Oh, it's fucking hot. I saw a geyser. When I was there, they had signs everywhere. When I was in Iceland, they had signs. They were like, "Don't touch water. Don't get near water." And then it showed the degrees in Celsius.
The 96
Yeah, it's 204 fucking degrees. That
degrees reached by the local water bodies are enough to cause burns and even killers. But Colin and Sable ignored numerous warning signs across the restricted area. Suddenly, the guy slipped and fell into hot water near the Pork Chop Geyser. Such a death is more painful than death in a volcano because in a hot spring doesn't happen instantly. It's slow. Moreover, in almost all the park's water bodies, acid sulfate liquids are present to a greater or lesser extent. So when Scott's sister returned with a few rangers, only parts of her brother's and torso and arm were visible in the hot spring. And by the next morning, Colin's body had completely dissolved. It seems that there couldn't be worse pre-death suffering, but in fact, could be.
So it acid burns you too?
140 points on the pain scale. On September 13th, 1987, in Goiânia, Brazil, the owner of a local land, Aviator Karthik, invited neighbors, relatives, and friends over to show them his interesting find. Aviator showed them a strange powder. It was sparkling, so mesmerizing that guests rubbed it on their skin and glitter, and took it with them to give to someone else. Yet none of them had any idea what this powder really was. The thing is, the man brought scrap metal, and someone brought from a neglected hospital a metal capsule to his landfill. But those who did it didn't realize they had taken it from a radiotherapy machine. Aviator Karthik ordered the capsule to be cut open, where he found the powder, which was actually radionuclide cesium-137.
And he just went, "Oh, this is cool. I'm gonna fucking hand it out to people."
It's used in treatment to create a source of gamma radiation capable of affecting
Oh my
humans.
god.
It's specifically directed at cancerous tumors. But if the radiation isn't controlled, it'll also affect healthy cells. Aviator did not realize it set off a deadly domino effect. So about 250 people came into contact with the powder. Maria Gabriela Ferreira, the wife of the landowner, began to suffer from hair loss and internal bleeding. One of Aviator's hired workers, Israel Bautista dos Santos, developed serious respiratory and lung complications. The other one, Edmilson Alves de Souza, had his heart affected. However, the most affected was Aviator's 6-year-old niece.
Oh my god, he was probably like playing with it like a sand. Just like fucking like making castles with it or whatever. Oh.
Nitas Neves Ferreira. She
I mean, not look at who the fuck that was.
was placed in an isolated hospital, but the staff was afraid to approach the child. The girl
He was like, probably it's some radiation.
gradually developed swelling in the upper part of the body, hair, kidney, lungs, and kidney, and just like Gabriella, she suffered from internal bleeding. On the pain scale, these feelings hit a whopping 125. All the people who came into contact with the blue powder got various diseases, and this quartet
Giant 5622, runway 24, cleared to land, wind 35 degrees, 9 knots.
on one of the city's mounds in March was used only 300 people. Such cases in ordinary life are
Some of the most painful deaths, I would say, were people that lived through the bombing in Nagasaki, but the radiation bombing ended up killing him. Because that's like a slow, painful death. Like that, yes, Chernobyl too. That's different though. That was a nuclear reactor. I'm talking about a nuclear bomb.
Pretty rare. But people who work directly with radioactive elements risk people dying literally every day. On August 21st, 1945, less than 2 weeks after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Who was that woman that guy was radioactive bomb? Did she end up dying from that?
14726, handling starting TOBT in 22:19 minutes.
Marie Curie, yeah. She worked with like, she was like one of the early scientists in the 1800s. Shit, I guess. So that ended up dying. Yeah, her discovery of radium and polonium. Her discovery of scientific she ended up dying.
Harry Daggett was working with the plutonium core at the Los Alamos test site in New Mexico. He used tungsten carbide bricks to create a barrier around it because the bricks reflected neutrons coming out of the radioactive plutonium battery. But when he started laying bricks around the core, he suddenly dropped one of them right on it. At that moment, the brick caused an uncontrolled nuclear fission chain reaction and covered the scientist with a deadly dose of radiation of 5.1 Caesium. After receiving irradiation, a person experiences countless excruciating sensations at once. The skin blisters and ulcers, after which the vessels burst. The person dies. In addition, due to the high dose of radiation, you feel how each of your organs slowly fail till death. And that's exactly what happened on the 25th floor of Harry Daggett's suffered. With a slow death from radiation, and all the previous
Condor 9406, runway 24, clear to land, wind 143, 10 knots.
However, fortunately, you cannot accidentally expose yourself to suffering that is at the maximum mark of 140
That is
points.
fucking
Even
horrible.
if you find yourself in the mouth of a volcano or in the heart of a
What if
nuclear
they just
reactor.
kill him? I mean, you want to take care of
So,
the
the
guy.
most painful sensation in the world is
You're not just gonna immediately be like, alright, we're just gonna fucking kill you because there's no way you're gonna look through this.
skin. This refers to a specific
Yeah, now, oh my god, because that's slow. And they did that to you. Like, they would use, or you would peel the skin off and then leave it, and then come back and take more of the suit, and then come back and take more of the suit. It'd be like days, and they would get infected, you know, medieval times.
Condor 9406, taxi to stand 2.
torture. Before it, the skin was softened using sunlight or hot water. Then, the torturer made incisions starting from the least sensitive parts of the body and ending with the delicate skin of the face. The process was designed to keep the victims alive as long as possible, maximizing pain. Eventually, death could occur from blood, shock, or infection. But such a method of punishment has existed for quite some time, since the times of the ancient Assyrians, and up to medieval Europe.
Imagine getting skinned alive. Holy fuck.
Nowadays, they don't do it.
A lot of band-aids? Yeah, no shit. Fuck, dude. I mean, that wouldn't even do anything. If you got, like, all the skin on your legs just peeled off, you would be in the hospital for weeks, months. You wouldn't be able to move.
At least, it's definitely prohibited by law. Write in the comments what caused you the most pain, and subscribe to my channel if you have nerves of steel.
That was a good video. It was an AI video, but it was a good ass video.
Enough men helps neutralize voting cover.
Bird here at the beginning of this video is so terrifying that to cover this video, I have to have my cat here as emotional support. So in the clip that you guys just watched, we can see that it's completely silent at nighttime, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we can see this beam of red projectiles traveling up in the sky, and this sound that can only be described as ominous. Let me tell you guys, you would not want to be worse.
Etihad 0759er, handling finished, 352 passed on board.
You know, we're only human. Our perception is flawed, especially when it comes to song lyrics. So we're gonna look at a few of the most well-known cases of misheard lyrics. And for the first time ever, we are going to use science to see what these singers are actually saying. Does our hearing actually suck? Or do these singers just need to work on their pronunciation? Well, we're gonna find out today. So why don't we take this song, for example? Celine Dion. You know, I never used to think it sounded like he was saying hot dogs, but once you hear it, you can never unhear it. Was she really talking about hot dogs? Well, we're gonna use science to find out. Let's give it the test, or the text-to-speech test.
something truly original in diseases. I find it helps, especially starts on it.
Yeah, she's definitely saying wet dream tomato. A wet dream tomato is a lot like a regular dream tomato, but you gotta change your pants after. Yeah. I've become a wet dream tomato. All right, test. What do you think Alicia keeps at the gym now? Well, we thought she was saying wet dream tomato. She was actually just saying. Now, some songs just have such messed up lyrics to begin with that they're just ripe for misheard lyrics. Take, for example, this little song by Nirvana. Okay, now this is just one of the millions of different variations of what people hear. I mean, some other common ones are. Let's do the test. We will finally test what he's actually saying. Here we are now. After all these years, we thought he was singing all these things, and it turns out he was just saying, "Help!" It's so inaccurate. Now, we have an issue that we need to address. This video is gonna get Bon Jovi living on a crater. John Bon Jovi, you disgust me. I beg to differ, John Bon Jovi. Whether you're naked or not makes a huge difference. I'm not allowed at Walmart anymore. We'll give it a tips test.
American 6922 handling finished 3-2 for pass on board.
It doesn't make a difference if I make it or not.
It doesn't make a difference if I make it.
But that's going to be the end of this video, and bye.